It's me. My name's Bailey. Before I continue, I'm gonna address this. I'm not sick. It's like nighttime, so my makeup doesn't really have to look that good anymore, so I was just putting on like a bunch of blush to do like the e-girl sickness look. I just wanted to like put the blush on and the rest of the makeup, so I'm not sick. I just like am simulating sickness. I don't know why. But yeah, don't worry about it. So I don't know how this vlog is gonna go, seeing as I'm vlogging some of my reading for another video already, so I don't know how this is gonna go. I scrap vlogs very liberally, so it's like, I might as well start this one even if it doesn't work out. But yeah, I'm gonna be vlogging my reading that I'm not reading for that other video. Makes sense. I have like 100 pages left of Forever. I'm listening to the audiobook and I cannot muster up the energy to finish this book. Like I have like 60 pages left and an hour of the audiobook and I'm so bored. What I've realized, so basically, if you don't know, this is the third book in the Shiver Quartet. These books follow Grace and Sam. Sam is a werewolf and Grace is in love with him, and it's a paranormal romance and there is no plot. Like, the minimal plot there is moves so slowly that if I wasn't listening to the audiobooks, there's no way I would ever finish these books. Like, I really liked the first book. I originally rated it 5 stars, but now I bumped it to a 4. And then I read the second book and it was a 3-star because I was just like, the one big thing that happens in that book takes like 350 pages to happen. And I'm just like bored out of my mind. And then this book is just so boring. It's nearly 400 pages and like nothing's happened and I'm losing it. Also, our main couple, Grace and Sam, become super boring but after like the first book, because like seeing the couple get together in the first book is cute. That's enough for me. Like, you can be together in this book but you're boring. I don't like vanilla couples because they just become so boring after a time. I'm like, I get it, you're in love. You're so deeply in love that you won't want to be with anybody else and there's nothing they could ever do wrong. There's no angst. It's just so happy-go-lucky vanilla. So the actual couple I'm invested in now is Cole and Isabel, 2 characters that become more prominent in the second book. Well, Cole is introduced really in the second book and then Isabel becomes more prominent then. And all I want to do is read from their perspectives, but then there's the 4 perspectives of Cole, Isabel, Grace, and Sam. The most perspectives there are Grace and Sam's because they're like the main characters, but I don't give a shit about them anymore. I'm like, you're too boring. You're too boring. So all I want is Cole and Isabel, but there isn't that many Cole and Isabel perspectives, and it's just frustrating. Also, this one random antagonistic character named Shelby from the first book just dipped out of the picture for the second book, and now suddenly I'm supposed to care about her again. I'm like, who you? New phone, who this? Like, it feels unnecessary. But I find it interesting that Shelby's point of view is narrated by Maggie Steifvater. Mind you, she's only had 1 perspective chapter, and it was the first chapter of this book, but like, Maggie Steifvater narrated it, and that was kind of interesting. I kind of like when authors get to kind of like contribute to the audiobook in some way, so I thought that was kind of cool. So I'm disappointed. This will get like a 3 probably for me. It's just like, come on. And I used my Audible credit for this month to get Sinner, which is the 4th book, on audio, and it is 9 and something hours, so it'll take like 4.5 hours to listen to. But I'm like, I am so sick of these books. But once I finish this, I'm like, I only have 1 book left. Gotta finish it, you know, like gotta, for completionist's sake, finish it. I'm edging onto a reading slump and I don't want that at all. I'm on a roll this month and I can't go into a reading slump. That is not allowed. So I need to figure out something to read. I'm assuming like physically maybe a manga. Is a manga a good idea? Maybe I'll look into that. But I don't know. I can feel myself inching into a slump. But I'm also like super stressed with school right now. And oh my god, let me get into my teen struggle. So I broke up with my boyfriend. I finally learned how to use Photoshop really basically. So I've learned how to do those thumbnails where you like select the person and do like the stroke outline around them, and then you can change the color of the background. And I'm so proud of myself because I've been trying to learn to use Photoshop for so long. I have a basic knowledge of like most Adobe programs, but Photoshop was just too much for me, but I finally figured it out, so like, go me. So all my thumbnails are going to be overly shopped probably for a bit while I have fun experimenting with Photoshop. But this is enough for this update, so welcome to a vlog. So I finally finished Forever by Maggie Steifvater, and wow, like, it's not even like a oof, yikes, that shit wasn't good sort of a thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's just more like it was so painfully bland and boring that it's disappointing, you know what I mean? So I gave this 3 out of 5 stars, which, like, 3 out of 5 stars inherently isn't bad, but this is more of a 3 out of 5 stars. Usually a 3-star for me is just kind of like, okay, well, that happened, but it's not gonna have any long-lasting impact. I didn't have any expectations, really. But then this book was so bland and boring, it's like I can't give it anything else. Like, it wasn't technically bad to be a 2 or a 1, but it was nothing, it didn't give me anything to warrant giving it anything more because nothing happened. The overarching antagonist of this series, I guess, is the fact that this certain person and, like, the government want to get want to get a court order to lift the ban on hunting the wolves in the woods because there's been some wolf attacks and some non-wolf attacks. Now they want to kill all the wolves in the woods by this town. So that's going on through this whole book, but or this whole series. But then in Linger, that gets put on hold for like all 350 pages of that book. So nothing happens in that book, and that book is very much like nothing. Like, there's legitimately nothing that happens in that book. But then this book, we're trying to tie up the thing where we're going to kill all the wolves in the woods, which are actually werewolves. Did I mention that? The wolves in the woods are actually werewolves. But, like, nothing else happens other than that, and also we got Shelby. So irrelevant Shelby ended up being irrelevant, but in the dumbest of ways, you know what I mean? Like, I thought maybe she was gonna come back and be like a legitimate antagonist, but she isn't. She's just there to be like, you know, this like little like ominous force, so the reader like thinks maybe something's going to happen, and then nothing happens. Like, at the end of this book, she comes back for one final gallant thing, but it's like, that could have totally been cut out. We didn't need Shelby. Like, Shelby does nothing. And she's supposed to be, like, this bad character and, like, antagonistic character. But it's like, Shelby does nothing. She honestly stands in the woods and then sometimes bites people. Really? Shelby's unnecessary. Sorry, but you're irrelevant Shelby, and I didn't care for you. So that was, like, another thing I was just like, what? And she came back right at the end, so I was like, oh, maybe something's gonna happen. And then, like, one tiny little thing happens, and then, like, we're done with her. And I'm just like, what? Why? Like, I don't know. All the appeal that I really liked in the first book, that being, like, Grace and Sam, kind of didn't like in the rest of the books. Like, I didn't dislike them. I was just like, I don't care about you anymore. I get you're in love, but your love is very boring and vanilla. I'm bored of it. And then the couple I was invested in getting together, Cole and Isabel, we didn't have a lot of focus on them in Forever, and it was a little upsetting to me. Like, they're both very angsty, and they fight a lot. So it's hard to make progress with them. But this book didn't focus on them like I would expect it to, like, focus more on them. Like, Linger is when Cole and Isabel become POV characters and become more relevant to the plot. And we get, like, fizzling of their relationship building in that book. And in this book, we barely get anything more development-wise. And I know the next book is, like, solely focusing on Cole, and I'm assuming Isabel's gonna be in that book as well, because it's very clear Cole and Isabel are, like, an endgame couple, in my opinion. But I'm just like, I don't understand why we decided to focus so much on Sam and Grace's POVs in this book, because a lot of times it's just like these throwaway chapters where they're thinking about how much they love each other, or they're like in wolf form, so they can't really think, but they're just thinking about how much their love transcends their bodies that they're in. And I'm just like, I don't care anymore. Give me, like, either give me some action plot or give me the romance plot that I actually am interested in, that being Cole and Isabel. So in general, this book was very bland. And I'm glad that I finished it finally, and I'm definitely going to listen to Sinner sooner rather than later so I can finish the series, but I don't know if I can put myself through like 4.5 hours of that book right now. But like, again, I like Cole, so maybe it's not gonna be that much of like a drag, but what if it is? I'm scared. And I don't know what to do here because I'm going to be doing the stay home and reading rush No. I'm going to be doing the Stay Home Reading Rush. I don't know what the official title is. But I don't think I'm going to do that in this vlog. But I've already committed to this vlog, so I think either right now or like in a day or two, this vlog is going to cut out and I'm just going to jump back into it after the reading rush because I'm going to do a separate vlog for that. So just know that at some point I'm going to have like a time jump to after the reading rush, but I don't know when because today's the 13th, 14th. I have an assignment due tomorrow that I haven't even started, so I gotta do that. But yeah, so today's the 14th and that starts on the 16th, so I'll probably update you tomorrow on something. I don't know what I'm going to be reading because I don't know if I want to start anything just because of the reading rush, so we'll see what I end up doing. But I will probably jump in either tomorrow or the next time you see me will be after the reading rush. But finished forever. Go me. So this is editing Bailey, but from like 2 minutes after filming this clip, that's why I look the same. Can this ponytail stay on top of my head? No. So I forgot to mention this when I was first talking about this book 2 minutes ago, but this was the original end to the trilogy. So it was originally a trilogy. There's the other 2 books right there. And now there's a 4th book called Sinner, but this is the original end to the series, or trilogy. That last book was tacked on later, and that's all fine and dandy. That's not a problem, but the fact that this book ends the way it does, there's like one like kind of cliffhanger sort of a thing, which like you can assume from the nature of this story being a paranormal romance. This is also like kind of very tropey classical YA, where it's like, you know, the main couple's gonna stay together forever, but there is a bit of a cliffhanger on the end, and in general it was a very unsatisfying end, to be honest. So I just want to point that out, like, as an end to a series, I don't think this is a good end to a series. Like, if I had been reading these as they came out and this was the end, I didn't know another book was coming at some point in the future, I would be dissatisfied. So I thought I'd point that out. So I just read Tokyo to Ghoul. English is hard. So I just read Tokyo Ghoul Volume 1, and I've been anticipating reading this book for a while because I've seen like edits on Instagram and I've had it for a while and I've just like been really interested in it, and it looks really like angsty and like intense, so I've been really excited for it. And I gave this 3 stars. No, that's not bad, but I was expecting to love it more than I did. So I think my actual rating is like 3.5 stars because it doesn't feel like a 3, but it doesn't feel like a 4, so I'm gonna stick it in the middle. But like, I liked it. I think, and I would really like to continue on because I'm confused. For some reason in my mind, it got into my mind that this was like not an anti-hero story, but more of like a villain story. And currently he's a good person, or on the good side, you know what I mean? So I'm just confused. But, like, in general, it was interesting. I like the world. If I were to give a description of this book, which every time I try to do so doesn't work out, I would probably say, in this book, there's humans and then there's ghouls. And ghouls eat humans for sustenance. They don't eat normal people food. And they disguise themselves and they kind of blend in with the normal human population, and then every month or so they have to eat human flesh and shit like that. And there's some ghouls who are very peaceful and only eat when they need to, and they're just generally in society. And there's some ghouls who are obviously overeating and like killing people for the sake of killing people. And this follows Kaneki, I don't know, Ken Kaneki, I don't know how to pronounce his name. But he is a human, and he's our main character, like I said, and he ends up having to have an organ transplant because of a situation, and the organs transplanted into him are ghoul organs, so he becomes a half-human, half-ghoul. And I know that manga series are super long, so this is only like a slice of the story, and I really want to continue on, but at the same time with manga, it gets kind of annoying because you only get a little sliver of the story each book, and each book is kind of expensive. So it's like, it's annoying when you don't have the next volume. So I don't have the next volume of this book, and that's a little upsetting. But my favorite character is this girl named Tauka? This girl is Tauka, and she's my favorite so far. But yeah, I don't know how to feel. Like, I'm very neutral on it, but I don't know, I expected more. But again, it's the first book in a series, so I don't know. I want to talk briefly on something because I actually genuinely really like manga, but side ponytails are not a vibe. But I genuinely really like manga, but this year especially, and towards the end of last year, I was getting really, I don't know, reluctant to read them just because I feel like, I don't know, when I rack up numbers on my Goodreads reading goal through manga, I feel like, I don't know, not disingenuous, but like I feel like I'm not doing real reading compared to people who read solely, like just solely physically reading books, for example, instead of like audiobooks and manga and graphic novels and such like that. And I don't know, it's like, logically it doesn't really matter, but it's just like that subliminal comparing of my reading to other people. But I want to actually start reading manga this year because I haven't read a single manga this year because of that like weird subconscious like insecurity about having manga on my reading challenge. But it's like, what the fuck, it doesn't even fucking matter. Didn't you feel like that when you like look at your reading goal if you're not like solely reading books physically? Like, you're not like you're invalid as a reader, but like you're reading less in a way, even if you're reading like your reading is less valid because you're not just reading physically. Because I try not to think that way, and then I like subliminally do, and I don't know, it just happens because I read majority on like audiobook and stuff, so I don't know, sometimes I get kind of insecure about that, but I don't really know. Tell me if you relate. Hello people, so I'm back from the reading rush. It didn't go well, but if you want to watch that experience, I'll link the vlog up here. But yeah, I finished the reading rush, and now I'm back to this vlog, Hey Beaches. And I started Catwoman by Sarah J Maas on audiobook yesterday because I was walking my dogs and needed something to listen to. And I'm about 77 pages in, and I'm currently not hating it, except for the fact that, like, I don't know exactly how this deal works, because obviously they're DC characters and she has to follow some guidelines of DC stuff. But what I'm thinking is this book is quite diverse, to be honest, but I don't think that diversity is because of Sarah J Maas. I think it's just because of DC. So that's just a note. I think that, like, this is definitely her most diverse book, if we're gonna be honest. But I don't think it's because Sarah J Maas made this book diverse. I feel like it's because DC made this book diverse. You know what I mean? I'm not exactly sure. If you don't know what this is, it follows Selena Kyle, and she's like 19 years old. And that's Catwoman, by the way. That's who Selena Kyle is. And it also follows this dude named Luke. I've lost his last name. Luke Fox? Yeah, she's Catwoman. She's a thief. And then Luke is a hero. He's Batwing. And they're in Gotham City. I don't really know what the plot of this is. I haven't read the description fully. That's all I know. And I don't really want to read the synopsis, so I can't really give you a good description until I, like, read further. And I'm not hating it. I like Selena, and I don't know. I just discovered recently that I'm kind of a sucker for, like, protector sibling relationships, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really care about sibling relationships in books. Like, I know a lot of people, like, I want sister love. Like, I don't really care about it. It's not a thing that I care for very much. Like, obviously, I would prefer if people have good sibling relationships in life, but it's not something that, like, I actively seek out in my books. But, relationships where there's, like, an older sibling taking care of and protecting a younger sibling, I am a fucking sucker for that. Like, Selena's younger sister, Maggie, has cystic fibrosis, and she was 13 last I checked, so she's 15 now. But, because there's, like, a 2-year time jump after, like, 2 chapters. So, in the beginning of this book, she's 13, and Selena is 17. And she has cystic fibrosis, the little sibling, and she's, like, taking care of her and making money, doing these fights to get money to get her treatment and tests and such, and I am such a fucking sucker for when there's, like, a younger sibling that the older one is taking care of because they have shitty parents, and I don't know, I'm a sucker for that. I really like Selena's character because of that, because she just cares so much for this sibling, except for we haven't seen the sibling in a while for a reason, and Selena is kind of off doing something, because basically, like, at the beginning of this book, I'll tell you what I know from reading 70 pages. 2 years ago, Maggie and Selena were living alone because her mom sucks ass, and she's, like, a druggie, and so they were taken to the precinct, and so they were basically having to be put into foster homes, is basically what I'm saying, but, like, Selena was like, fuck that shit, and beat up these officers because they were, like, trying to grab at Maggie, and so Maggie's now in a foster home. But since Selena was going to go to jail, she was given this offer by this Italian lady to go to her Italian school, to learn how to be an assassin. And so now it's 2 years later and she's come back to Gotham City after that. And she's got a mission to do. I think it's to take down all, like, the heroes of Gotham. I don't really know. Or take down the rich, burn the rich. I have no idea. That's all I've gotten from 70 pages. But I hope that she gets to be reunited with Maggie because their relationship is so cute, and I don't know. But yeah, that's what I'm reading as of current. I'm not really reading anything else right now. I've tried to read a few things, and the reading rush kind of put me in a slump, so let's not let that happen. So this is the current endeavor. We'll see if I pick something up physically as well, because I don't know. I'm really busy in school. Why am I so busy in school now that it's online? This is not fair. Also, my nose is stuffed up. But yeah, I got an assignment to do at school, so bye, beach. Trudeau, shut up! I've heard Trudeau talk enough today. I'm done watching the news right now. Hello. So I just skipped gym class because I'm a fucking rebel. But then I also emailed the teacher and said I had a Wi-Fi issue, even though that was kind of a lie. If anyone asks you, there was a Wi-Fi issue, okay? Didn't skip. There's a Wi-Fi issue. If anyone asks, be a homie. Lie for me. So I do have a reading update, but I'm not going to get to it first because I'm actually kind of angry about other things. So watch me rant. So online school is bullshit. So I go to, like, physical school. Like, I go to a place to go to school. I'm not homeschooled or online schooled. That's what I was trying to say. And since, you know, coronavirus, I'm being online schooled. But guess what class I'm the most busy in? Fucking art. Why are we still doing art? I don't know. Like, of all the things, I have to do an online gym class and an online art class. Why? Like, even if I had to do an art class to get my credits, right? Why do I have, like, 3 extra projects? Somebody explain to me the logic. I'm mad. So I think online school is kind of bullshit right now because it's like making me super busy and I'm already behind. So go me. And also, like, myself. I have a lot of, okay, I hate calling them mental problems, but then, like, they're technically problems, you know what I mean? Like, not being able to go to sleep because you think you're gonna die in your sleep with no, like, actual fucking reasoning is kind of a problem. But I hate calling them mental problems because I'm kind of stuck with them, so I'd rather not be stuck with problems. So I'll say afflictions, even though that's kind of just as bad. So I have, like, mental illnesses. I also hate that term, but it's, like, what it is. And one, I'm a hypochondriac, and that is so not fun. And so it makes my sleep schedule very whack, so I stay up really early into the morning because I can't fall asleep unless my body is literally shutting down. And I cannot sleep without a light on, which is not healthy. Stress can kill you. And then that gives me more stress, and the stress is killing me, and I get stressed that I'm killing myself. You know what? It's just a never-ending cycle, right? Because then we have this problem where it's like, I can't sleep, but I usually can't sleep. This is not like a new thing, but it's getting worse because, you know, there's a pandemic. And then I also still have the other issues where I'm like, oh, what if I'm having a heart attack? No, bitch, you're 16, you probably aren't. What if I'm having a stroke? Again, you're 16, you probably aren't. You know? So that's like the normal issues mixed with, again, what if I have coronavirus? And then on the other side, I have so much fucking work to do that I'm overwhelmed with that. And when I get overwhelmed, I just stop doing things because I'm so overwhelmed that I can't even deal with those things that I just kind of shut down. So it's just a nice little fucking cycle and I'm losing it. Again, I'm rambling. I also have ADD, so that's kind of why. So yeah, back to the reading update. I'm on page 199, but I'm gonna round 200 of Catwoman, and I'm gonna be honest, probably my favorite Sarah J Maas book I've read, because I can't really judge the other ones right now because it was like 2 years since I've read them. And I know that's not like a lot to some people, but it's a lot to me because I know if I read them now, I'm not gonna like them as much. So I think this is my favorite Sarah J Maas book because it is diverse, but again, I don't think this is really due to Sarah J Maas. I think it's mostly due to DC, but that's just an opinion, I don't know. But I really like the girl gang aspect. This book follows Catwoman, obviously, but it also follows her little crew of people. She gets Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy in on it. I really like the girl gang aspect of it. Definitely not a 5-star. Right now it's looking at like a 3.5 or a 4, but I'm really liking it. They're very powerful women. I love reading about powerful women, but I also kind of dislike, like, I understand to be a supervillain or to be a superhero, you kind of have to be like a genius. But I get bored reading about super sexy, super smart people all the time. Like, I'm like, this is unrealistic. I get that you have to be smart, but like, can we have a hideous superhero? or supervillain. Can someone be ugly? Is basically what I'm asking for. Because like I'll accept that they have to be smart to be superheroes or villains, but they don't have to be sexy. Like as much as I love reading about these sexy, powerful women, like it's unrealistic. And then Batwing over here, Luke, he's super hot and super smart. He's super smart, but he's also like not clever, you know what I mean? Like these girls be duping him, so he's kind of like not good at what he's doing. Honestly, he's a bad superhero, let's be honest. He's not very good at his job, but he's smart anyway, and I'm like, can you be ugly at least? I don't know. I wish somebody was ugly is basically my critique. I have about 158 pages left. That's 2 hours and a half of the audiobook, so I'll probably finish that today if I don't have a breakdown. I forgot one of the things I don't like about this book, and it's not just this book, but it's what this book is doing. Basically, I hate the trope or like the concept or the character art, I don't know. I hate the trope, I guess it's a trope, but I don't know if it really is, where there's like this hot as fuck guy, and then all their life, all the girls swoon after them, and then our main character doesn't swoon after them, so then they're like, oh my god, I'm interested in you. Which I get that might happen, but also it's just another way of being like, oh, she's not like other girls. She doesn't like him like every other girl likes him. And I don't know, I don't like that. It annoys me a lot, because that to me comes across as she's not like other girls. So just I point that out. I'm also like, this guy, I don't think he's all that in a bag of chips, okay? Like, tone down the ego, please. Guess what, fellas? I'm sick. Now, don't panic, because I'm trying not to panic. I don't think I have coronavirus, which, you know, is great, because I've had this sniffly nose for like 4 to 5 weeks. Not good. I don't know what's going on there, but now I've been having like hot and cold, not flashes, but I've had a fever every once in a while, but it goes back to normal, so it doesn't bother me, and I have no like shortness of breath or coughing, so I think I'm okay in regards to like that. But yeah, I don't know, I'm sick, but I was telling my family that I'm sick because that's a courtesy to the people who live with you, you know, like to, you know, just inform them with things that are going on in your health that could affect them. And then my mom and brother started joking and didn't take me seriously, and that was annoying. So yeah, I thought I'd tell you that. I don't know why, but there you go. Also, I need to finish Catwoman today because, oh, it's too far away. I'm not gonna grab it. It's right there. I need to finish that today, like at best, because I have another book that I need to start reading today for a buddy read. So I want to finish that today. So hopefully I can come back to you later with an update on that, and I can finish this vlog, because this vlog has been going on too long. But yeah, I'm so behind in school and I'm stressed out, but you know what, whatever. Wow, this sweaty look, it's doing a lot for me right now, I can tell. Hello. So I'm not gonna lie to you, I really just want to do this clip and go outside because it's nice outside and I want to rollerblade. So I'm gonna update you on my reading. And actually, it's a pretty positive update, to be honest. So let's do this. I finished Catwoman Soulstealer by Sarah J Maas, and I gave this 4 to 5 stars. I actually really like this book. Like, there's some things I really don't like. One, this is very classic Sarah J Maas, even though it's dictated by DC, you know what I mean? Like, it still has a main character who has, like, a big plot twist reveal of all these plans they've had this whole book, and it falls into a lot of like the character archetypes that Sarah J Maas has. I don't hate that, it's just noticeable, but I really love Selena Kyle, and I really love the girl gang aspect. I think that is my favorite part of this book. It is so amazing. Like, aside from them being like badass women, like committing crimes and just being amazing, they like, seeing them all bond together and kind of build a friendship, even though they're all super damaged in their own ways and like they've kind of not been allowed to have a normal teenage experience, like seeing them bond together and become friends despite that was beautiful, and I loved it so much. The romantic elements of this book I enjoyed, but I did appreciate that they're not like love elements, they're more just like lust and like attraction for the most part until like the end. You know what I mean? Like, I liked that it wasn't really like, oh, I'm in love with you, but it's more like, I just really want to make out with you, dude. I appreciated that. That was cool. but I wasn't really invested in the romance, and Luke was kind of like a drab character, but like the heists and shit, and the powerful woman, just, I loved that so much. Like, when they were doing their little heists and shit, that was my favorite part. The action of this book with the girls was amazing, and like, Poison Ivy was such a good character. Like, Catwoman and Poison Ivy are my favorite characters. Harley's on the fritz for me because she kind of pisses me off throughout this book, but I kind of get why she's kind of fucked up. But, like, I loved Selena and Ivy, especially their budding friendship with each other. It was so beautiful to read. I loved it so much. So, yeah, give this 4 to 5 stars. The reason I didn't give it a full 5 stars, again, is the tropes and also, like, the I'm not like other girls thing. But I genuinely really like this. And I think it's probably my favorite Sarah J Maas book that I've read, because I've rated a bunch of other books 5 stars, but again, it's not, since like I need to reread them to really check that, because I don't think that they're 5 stars. So I really love this, and I think also the diversity of this book is making me really like it, even though I still hold strong that all of this diversity was not due to Sarah J Maas, because she wrote Crescent City after this, or was still writing Crescent City after this, and that shit has no diversity, or has bare minimum diversity. You don't make this diverse creation and then write your little, like, whitewashed, gold-dusted mess that's Crescent City. So I don't think the diversity is fully due to Sarah J Maas, but nonetheless, I liked it, so I like seeing non-just Caucasian people. But I would like to say that every time a character, like, walked into a room and be like, the white woman, the Indian woman, it would, like, say their race as they walked into places, which is not, like, that big a problem, but it kind of got noticeable every time it was done. But, like, I don't really care. I really like this book, and I am glad I read it. I forgot to mention this on my thoughts on Catwoman. I think the end was a little bit underwhelming and a tad convenient, if we're gonna be honest, but my love of the girl gang and of Poison Ivy and Catwoman exceeds my disappointment at the kind of mediocre ending. So decide to add that in. I don't know if I'm gonna read the rest of the series, because I was asking a friend who's read them, and she said they're not really connected, and I don't really care about any of the other, like, superhero retellings, like Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman. I might read Wonder Woman, but I'm honestly not really that interested in the rest of them. I'd rather just read about these characters, to be honest, but I really did enjoy this. I only have 3 more of Sarah J Maas's books that I haven't read, so, like, it makes me more confident that I'll be able to read all of Sarah J Maas's work by the end of this year, so. Oh, I'm wearing the same hoodie that I was thinking in this vlog. Wow, that's just poetic. More like I just don't wear a lot of different outfits. But yeah, that's it for this vlog. I don't remember what I read in the beginning of this. I finished Forever. I think I read Tokyo Ghoul and this book. And now I bid you adieu. I'm going to peace out and go outside because I want to hang out outside. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. I've been Bailey. Bye.